Hey, welcome back to the Glycogen Cycling channel. So we got an exciting week because on Friday, July 19th, the Intelligentsia Cup is starting back up. So I'm planning on doing all 10 days of racing, and it's going to be exciting. We got one new course this year, and yeah, so let's get into it. So in this video, I just want to talk about the course and kind of go over who's registered, and then also talk a little bit about last year and how I did. So I'm going to be doing the category 2-3 race. I'm not super competitive in the 1-2s right now, so I'd rather just do the 2-3s, be competitive, and actually have a chance at, winning, get some upgrade points, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's a good choice on my part. So the first day is the Chicago Beverly Cycling Classic. So if we scroll down to the course, last year this was like the worst day for me. First day of the race, 10 days of racing, and it started to rain halfway through the race, like pour. And I was coming into turn 1 right here with about 5 to go, which was just after the free laps ended, and my front wheel slid out, and I slid about 30 feet into a fence. You can check out the video in the top right corner from last year, but yeah, so that was not fun. And then, free laps are over, so my race is done at that point. And yeah, I was feeling really good up until that point, and then the whole rest of the series, you're dealing with road rash, and I found out my bike chain was like bent, and it wasn't good. So 5 o'clock, it's actually a really short race, 40 minutes, and it's a good way to start it off. So the course is pretty simple. Right here, there's a little bit of an uphill, and then, actually like really good pavement. I think that's the reason I crashed last year, is the pavement was brand new. Like, I'm pretty sure they paved it 2 days before, and you have that little bit of oil when it gets wet, and my front wheel just completely slid out. But other than that, course is really fun. A couple turns, and then the downhill into this right-hander last turn is actually pretty quick, but it's pretty sharp, so you almost need to use the brakes a little bit, and then you have a long sprint to the end. So that's the first day. Next day is Glen Ellyn, which is probably the most technical of the courses, but super fun course. This is probably the earliest they've had it in the series, on the second day. Usually it's on the second weekend, but I'm not complaining because you're going to be fresh. 1.4 mile course. You have a little chicane here, and then an uphill on this section, and then there's a roundabout here that you go on the right side, and then down here is a downhill, and then you have a little 180. So it's got a little bit of everything, and it's a perfect course for a breakaway, which I'm going to get into a little bit later, but last year pretty much every race ended in a breakaway because there wasn't really any teams that were controlling the race, and it looks like it's going to be about the same this year too. So the next day is the road race, which is more like a long crit. This course has so many turns. Pavement is all right at best. There's a steep uphill section, but you come into it from a downhill, so you can hold up your speed pretty well on that part. Other than that, yeah, it's just a road race, I guess. Not my favorite of the courses. Let's just say that. You never really feel like you can just like keep a steady rhythm going because you're always turning, especially on this back section. And then we have another road race, South Chicago, which this one is always pretty windy. You got the wind off Lake Michigan, and then you have, super simple course. A little bit of turns here that are super wide open, so you don't have to use the brakes at all. And then you have, a long straightaway into a 180, and then you back and do it again. So, if you're a sprinter, this is like your dream course. You have like a mile to get set up for the sprint. So there's really no excuses to not have a great positioning if you're a sprinter. But other than that, yeah, super simple. Can be quite boring if a breakaway goes, which is what happened last year. You'll notice a theme to this. There's always a breakaway, and I learned a lot last year, so we're going to see how that goes. So this next day, there was normally another road race here at the racetrack, but they actually added a new course this year, which is another crit. It looks super simple. I've actually never done this course. They said it was been used off and on since 2001. I never actually raced here, I don't think. But it looks like there's a little chicane. So that's going to be an exciting day. And hopefully we get some cool action going. West Dundy, this is a classic race. You'll see right here. Super steep uphill, which is going into the finish stretch. And then we have a technical section back here, and then a steep downhill into this, super sharp turn, which you want to hold as much speed as you can for this uphill. But if you're in the back, it's really hard to do. So crucial to stay in the front on this, at least in this section of the course. And then, try to recover a little bit. Again, another breakaway one on this stage. There was... with this hill, it's super easy almost for if you're strong at the top to just make a move right here, which is where all the moves go. As soon as everyone wants to sit up right here. So if you make a move here and go, you can stay away at that point. Super fun course. Hoping to do well here this year, and we'll see how it goes. Niles is next. And Niles is, again, nothing super interesting on this one. This section can be kind of tight with these turns. Most of these other days are like wide open turns for the most part. This day it starts to get a little bit tighter around the corners, especially in this section. And this is kind of deceiving. It's actually those turns are pretty close together. So, again, I think a breakaway one on here, just barely. They went off with like 2 laps to go and ended up, getting it. Elmhurst, another super fun course. This little chicane. There was a couple crashes here last year. Not exactly sure why, because it was, there's a couple manhole covers, but that it's there. We had like a crash, and then the next lap around we had another crash, same turn. So yeah, be careful of that little section. But other than that, like wide open boulevard for the sprint. You really want to set up for the sprint and right around here, have a good position here, because you hammer it all the way down, and then there's a little false flat uphill to the finish. So that's really fun. And then the course that's closest to my home area is Lake Bluff, which is another pretty technical course. It doesn't seem like it on the map, but these turns right here are actually really tight. So if you're not in the first 10 guys or so, you're really hitting the brakes. So it's crucial on this course to stay in the front, because you use so much less energy in the front of the race versus the back, because you're always, sprinting and then braking really hard and then sprinting out of these turns. So it's, you got to stay in the front here. And then this is a uphill, just, almost false flat, but it's you can notice it's an uphill into the start finish. And That's really cool. And then before I get to the last day, let's just look how I did last year. So it was the 2-3s. Again, the first day I crashed out, so they didn't even score me. But honestly, I wasn't like super happy with how I was doing here. The crash probably affected me, but I didn't really feel like it did in the moment. My best finish was 8th in the race they got rid of course. So, we'll see how we do. This race, breakaway won, and I was just like, conserving. And then, yeah, like mid-pack basically all the races. It wasn't that great. And then we'll get to the last course here, Fulton Street. This is probably has the most spectators, I'd say. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's right on the Goose Island brewery area. So, everyone's here at the bar partying, and then this is kind of an industrial area. So we have, straight turn, chicane, turn. Turns are pretty wide open, so you can, if you're in the back, you have a chance to move up. It's not super crucial like Lake Bluff is for positioning. But, yeah, I was in a breakaway for a little bit on this course, but we got pulled back, and I think right after we got pulled back, another break went and ended up winning. So sometimes it's just like, luck at that point. So yeah, I just want to go over a little bit of how I think this race is going to play out. So here's the Omnium, and we have 21 people registered. Some people, probably like me, are waiting still until the last minute, because I think registration closes I'm recording this on Sunday, so it closes on Tuesday, which is the day before I post this video. But from the looks of it, there's not really any teams that are, super big. We have a couple of Quantum guys. We have, I think, two Dash guys. And other than that, Dave Jordan Racing, we have, 2 of those guys. So what I'm seeing from this is there's not any teams that are really going to be, able to control the race. So that tells me if like one of these guys from each of these teams, or even like one or two, like if one of the Dash guys goes and one of the Quantum guy gets in the break, their teammate isn't going to work, and all these single guys don't really want to work. So it's going to be, in my opinion, a lot of breakaways are going to win again, because there's not really any teams to actually control this compared to like the Pro 1-2s. You're going to have a bunch of guys, a bunch of teams. Actually, from here, I guess I can't really tell, but they're going to be able to control the race a lot more, especially when you have 60 guys versus 20. But this is just for the Omnium. So if you go up and search for the individual races, you're going to have guys that don't do the whole 10 days, but just sign up for each individual stage that they want to do. So we're going to have about 30-ish to 35 guys per race. So this is the first day. 25 are registered now. Again, I still have to register. Glen Ellyn, we have 27. And this is where these United Healthcare guys show up. They were here last year, and they're actually really good. They work together really well. So they're going to be, guys to watch. And they did pretty much the whole week until the weekend. So definitely a team to watch. I know they won a couple stages last year. And then, yeah, so we have, 30 guys. So we're probably going to have around 35-ish guys per race on average. So this one has 32 already. That's the West Dundy. That's the one with the hill. So we have a big field for that. So other than that, it's going to be a lot of breakaways. So if anyone's watching that's in the 2-3s, be prepared because there's going to be a lot of breakaways. I guess I shouldn't even be saying this because, trying to keep my strategy, but, whatever. Doesn't matter that much. I'm going to talk with the legs. Yeah, going to be an exciting race. 10 days of racing. Again, this year, compared to last year, let's see, I did 36 races. And this year I have, 3 that are on here. I probably did another 2. So I have 5 races in my legs this year. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes because, at the start last year, I did, 5 days of Toad, did Joe Martin, I did Tour of St. Louis. So I was in really good shape last year. Unfortunately, that crash the first day kind of took me out, but hopefully this year I'll be smarter with my moves and it'll pay off. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you want to see in the comments. So I don't think I'm going to be able to do a vlog for every single day how I did last year. I'm just not going to have the time. So let me know in the comments if you want to see a month of Intelligentsia vlogs, or do you want to just see specific days? Let me know what days you want to see, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I'm gonna record everything and post it eventually. But let me know if you want to see anything specific that's first on your priority. Again, if I win a stage, I'm gonna post that first. But let me know what you want to see in the comments. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned something. If you're racing Intelligentsia, come say hi. And yeah, other than that, we'll see you on the road. Thanks for watching.